Today is a really big day, and it's one that I've been looking forward to for almost a year. And what Josh and I are going to be doing today is removing the black plastic that's covering this bank. Last year we bought this house, and before we moved in, it hadn't been lived in years, and the previous owner had left lots of junk outside. It was overgrown in areas. House needed a lot of work. As you saw in last week's video, the deck needed replacing. Lots and lots and lots of projects that have been keeping us very, very busy. One of the problem areas was this bank, and it's really close to the house. It's quite steep, and I wasn't quite sure at the time what to do with it, what to plant it up with, because it is good growing space. And so what I decided to do is to get it covered in black plastic. And when we lift the plastic up today, what I expect to see is dried grass, more junk that was concealed in the overgrowth last year, and we'll probably be able to see a lot better what the soil is like, if there are any other kind of plants that have survived that need removing, and we can deal with it a lot easier. Black plastic is the way that I started the allotment garden. It is just an easy and organic way to clear land. What you need to have is time and patience though. In the summer, it doesn't take very long at all to clear grass and weeds and overgrowth underneath. It depends on what's underneath though. And if it's just grass, it can take as little as 6 weeks. But if you do have time, the longer you can leave it on, the clearer the land will be underneath when you start. What black plastic does is it excludes light. It excludes water as well, so the soil will likely be quite dry when we lift the plastic up. And in the summer in particular, there is warmth from the sun, and what that does is it solarizes, so it cooks all of the plants that are underneath. And to some extent it does cook some of the seeds in the soil, but I have the experience of knowing that lots of seeds do survive, so it doesn't kill all those off. You can't hope that it will kill those off. When it comes to worms and other animals that were living underneath the plastic, what tends to happen is they move away temporarily. There will be some under there, and we might even find some rodents, who knows? But once we lift the plastic, once we tidy it up, rain will make the soil a lot more moist. Worms and animals will move back in, and what we have is essentially a pretty clean slate to begin with. So today we're going to remove the plastic and set it aside to be reused, and I will tell you a little bit more about what's going to be happening with this bank towards the end of the video.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane, and as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
We've lifted all of the plastic now, and as Josh just said, it looks like a barren wasteland. Lots of dead things and sickly looking things, but there is a lot more visibility on what's underneath the foliage. Loads of these white quartz stones, lots of them embedded into the bank there, and there's some interesting things too. Let me show you this weird thing up here. There's a purple mushroom right here. I'm not sure what type it is, but that is really, really interesting. And then, yes, there are some spring bulbs trying to come through. So we've got crocuses. These are the first crocuses that I've seen here, and they must have been warmed up by the black plastic over the soil here. So these will probably just leave here. And I think there we've got tulips coming up quite far along. Quite a few other plants, and probably a lot of these plants are just starting to come up now, which is why they've survived. But you do get really tough plants like nettles and dock, which can persevere, and those will all need to be dug out manually. Last spring, when this slope was covered in grass and growing plants, it would have been a nightmare to clear. So by using the black plastic, laying it on top of the soil, it's killed off a lot of those plants, most of them. And although it looks pretty messy, this is going to be so easy to clear. So this is a little spot that I've literally just cleared right now. And all you have to do with this dead grass is just pull it back and it exposes the soil. So this is so much easier than digging turf and clumps of grass out of an area that you want to clear. And so this is a really good technique. So using black plastic to clear land. So if you want to create a vegetable garden, to clear a border, you just need to have the patience to be able to put plastic down and to wait. And although I thought that the soil would be really dry under here, it's actually very moist, and there are still a lot of animals, including worms and little snails, all living underneath what I thought would be actually clear of them. One of the most interesting things about the back bank is these quartz crystal stones, and there are a lot of them. And we knew that there were some when we first moved in and suspected there were a lot more back here, but since pulling back the black plastic, you can see them all embedded into the soil. And once we pull off all of the grass, we'll be able to see quite a few more. You can see we've been putting a couple at the top just to hold down the plastic. There's a really big one right there in the center of the screen. They're really, really quite big and beautiful as well. And there's a history of using quartz crystal stones on the Isle of Man as a kind of low energy, actually no energy type of street lighting. And people would put these on their gate posts and moonlight would reflect off of them, and so you would know where you're going at night. And apparently they've been used for about 5,000 years here for that purpose. So it's really, really interesting, and not quite sure what we're going to do with the ones that we have. There's probably about 30 of them, maybe more. And I've been asking people on Instagram some ideas as to what to do with these stones. And I'd love to know what your ideas are as well. If you had 30 of these beautiful white crystal stones in your garden, what would you use them for? Well, it's been a busy, dirty, and productive day, and we've got quite a bit done. The black plastic is all lifted, it's folded back here behind me, and we'll be using it at the allotment on basically plots that don't have an owner, so we'll be clearing those spaces for future gardeners. And black plastic is so effective. It isn't the prettiest, I will admit, but it does a great job of killing off grass and plants and weeds so that you can create new garden space, whether it's a brand new vegetable garden or a border or an awkward bank like this. So the next step is going to be pulling the grass and whatever bits and bobs here need to come out to expose the soil. And there's been a lot of work that we've done down towards the end. There are just so many sticks and twigs and a lot of junk in there too that we removed. Took a lot to the amenity site, so the recycle center here earlier. And I put a blue line, so a piece of blue string there, baling twine, and that shows how much we're going to take this bank in. So we're going to create a little bit more level ground because, as you know, the polytunnel is going to be right back behind me, and we're going to be building that very, very soon. And then as far as planting is concerned, I have some hedgerow plants, bare root plants on the way in the post. They should be here very soon, and I'm going to be planting them in a line at the top here and curving around the side. And then it will be mulching that soil because there are weed seeds, there are nettle roots, there are all kinds of plants that will love to take the opportunity to recolonize bare ground. So that's really important. If you do clear land, you need to cover it with some kind of mulch. Compost is my favorite. In this area, I'm going to be using that cornstarch material again because it's going to be so heavy duty and it's going to exclude anything from being able to access the ground under, and it will biodegrade as well. So that's it. A full day's work. If you've got any questions about what we're doing here, or any questions about using black plastic to clear land, do let me know. And I will work in some video footage to show what this place looked like last April, and this is a dramatic difference to what it was. You can actually see the ground here now, and we haven't had to use any kind of herbicides or chemical products to do that. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, do hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you know when new videos are out. I'll see you next time here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now.